Poison Tree by William Blake.
A poison tree. I was angry with my friend. I told my wrath did end. I was angry with my foe. I told it not, my wrath did grow. And I watered it in fears, night and morning with my tears. And I sunned it with smiles and with soft, deceitful wiles. And it grew both day and night, till it bore an apple bright. And my foe beheld it shine, and he knew that it was mine. And into my garden stole, when the night had veiled the pole. In the morning glad I see my foe outstretched beneath the tree. Poison tree. I was angry with my friend. I told my wrath did end. I was angry with my foe. I told it not, my wrath did grow.
Poem. I think again, as I've been saying with many of these poems, read it in context of the other stuff that we've read in the Songs of Experience and Innocence, and think about the implications of it, because I think the poison tree is the similar type of tree to the tree of mystery that we saw in the human abstract, and perhaps even, it has some things in common with In the Garden of Love, the briars that were entwining people with their joys and desires. So some of these images sort of link. Okay, we'll read it through. I was angry with my friend, I told my wrath did end. I was angry with my foe, I told it not, my wrath did grow. Many people commented on the psychological nature of many of Blake's poems, that he was way ahead of his time, and I think that this poem is perhaps what we might call, it's about repression, the idea that if you don't talk about your feelings, they pop, they grow inside you, they get worse, and this was a very modern idea at this particular time, and I think still people see it as a modern idea. So someone who's had a relationship with their friend tells their friend why they're angry with them, and the wrath goes away, but they don't tell their foe, their enemy, and it grows. And I watered it in fears, night and morning with my tears, and I sunned it with smiles and soft deceitful wiles. So we've got the metaphor of the tree developing here. It's something we saw in the human abstract, where the humility had taken root and has grown into a tree of mystery, and become this sort of tree of deceit, really, that hid the sort of true nature and true selfishness of people and the system. And here you've got the main character sunning with smiles. He's pretending to be friendly to the foe, to the enemy, and soft deceitful wiles meaning ways of being, ways of acting. And so we've got the kind of alliteration and the rhyme there emphasizing the kind of sinister way in which this person is pretending to be someone he is not. He's pretending to be nice when actually he has all of his anger within him against his enemy. And it grew both day and night, till it bore an apple bright, and my foe beheld it shine, and he knew that it was mine. So we've got the idea of the fruit growing. Again, this is something we saw in the human abstract, the fruit of deceit. There's a real link there. And till it bore an apple bright, we've got this kind of image that's perhaps from the Bible, isn't it? You know, the tree of knowledge, the apple that Eve initially eats, given to her by the snake, is coming here. But this is the apple of deceit, isn't it? And it's deceit because it's being offered as a present, isn't it? It's being offered as something which is pleasant and nice, but actually is a disguised form of revenge. And we might think about this in a minute, what actually is behind the image. So the foe saw it shine, saw the beauty of it, and he realised it was mine, and into my garden stole, when night had veiled the pole. In the morning I glad I see my foe outstretched beneath the tree. So the foe goes into the garden and eats the fruit, and clearly by the end has died, or perhaps it's a poison tree, isn't it? He's eaten this poisoned fruit that looked like it was nice. It looked like it was a kind of gift. Takes it, he steals into the garden, he takes it, and the poet is glad to see the person has died. Full of mystery, this poem, isn't it? There's a sort of half a story here. We don't know why. So the poet is angry with his foe. We don't quite know what the apple represents. Again, it has a kind of symbolic meaning, with something we looked at with the invisible worm and the sick rose in that particular poem, where you have particular symbols, don't you, that don't seem to have we're not quite clear what they link to. And I think that's important. There's a sort of mysterious element to it. But I think that overall we can certainly say that Blake is trying to make us think about the ways in which if we're dishonest with ourselves, dishonest with people, it grows a sort of fruit of deceit from a poison tree, and it leads to death and destruction. And while people might think that you're being very pleasant, actually you're not. And vice versa, while you might think that people are being nice to you, actually maybe they're harbouring secret jealousies, which can be very destructive. So the poem has a quality of a sort of fable, rather like the clod and the pebble, and it has a sort of mystery to it, which is similar to the human abstract, similar to the tiger. There's an open-endedness to it, isn't there? They're constantly leaving us with more questions than answers, but there's certainly some kind of clear ideas there. And the poem is structured in couplets, isn't it? That give it a kind of neatness and a quality of a sort of ballad, a story in rhyme, and uses biblical imagery to kind of generate links between other texts, and uses imagery that we found elsewhere in the Songs of Experience.